I met Kinsey in 2012. When I first originally moved to Cincinnati, she was hired 100% over the phone, which is interesting because, obviously we went to face-to-face and then Zoom and all the things. And obviously Kinsey on her second round interview, we did it inside the store then. She showed up to her second round interview and she showed up with her suitcase to the store and she was 30 minutes late.
With no resume.
Oh, no resume and wearing jeans,
Yeah.
So pretty wild.
And flip-flops.
Yeah, and flip-flops. She was like rushing from the airport, to do the second round interview.
And then my mom sent me about 31 questions to ask you in the third round interview over the phone.
Oh, yeah.
And I think our third round was like an hour at least. Like I had an email from my mom of all the questions that I should ask.
Yeah. Do you think back on that and you're like, what if I would have just, like how many do you think people that are new at running a business would have prejudged that and been like, you know what, she showed up in jeans, forget it?
Probably all of them.
Probably all of them, yeah. But my leader, he was sharp enough, thank God, to say, hey, she's actually really, really sharp, So he was like, 100%, you need to do this third round interview. So I was just on the phone, crushing it, doing it with her.
Julia is one of the people that locked me in. So Jessica invited me. I had been in the industry for maybe like 5 weeks, and it was 3 days before Thanksgiving, and Jessica was like, hey, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? And at the time, I was just going to drive home. We had a blackout period, so we had like a 2-week time off period, and I was going to drive home to North Carolina. And she was like, do you want to go to Puerto Rico instead? I was like, of course, sounds great. So we did, and Julia reached her milestone for consultant there and talked about her story. And it's one of the things that I always remember was a big turning block for me, deciding to stay in the industry and believing that this was, something that I could do and that it didn't take like somebody with this crazy degree or whatever to figure it out, that like I could too, so.
My name is Marcus Hawkins. I've been an ICD owner for about 5 months now, and my question is that what do most people in my position get wrong when developing leaders?
I think the biggest mistake that people make when they're developing leaders is 2 things. So the first thing is they don't foster their skill with enough time spent with them. What a new business owner can do is spend a lot of time coaching, going through the experiences together, answering questions, really digging into what makes somebody great in leadership. It is truly just investing in the people around them. And, so I think that's a really big one. And then the second thing I would say is being really systematic. It's a huge struggle for a new business to create infrastructure and processes that other people can follow. And typically what happens is when somebody's a business owner, they will spend a lot of time doing things themselves, but they never take the time to document it. So they don't actually really know what they're good at. They don't know why they got to where they are. And so they're trying to tell people, hey, follow me, hey, copy me, hey, do what I do, but they can't actually explain it. So if I was gonna give advice to somebody and say, hey, build better new leaders, I would say, do what you do and then document every single part of that so that you can then teach it and delegate it to someone, because the system is what people can follow. Then what you have to do is spend the time to develop them.
I think a lot of new business owners think this is way harder than it actually is. Like this could be so easy for people, and some of the best people in this industry aren't necessarily the smartest people on paper, like myself included. But I think everyone tries to do everything themselves. They just try to push through it, stay on their own island, do everything themselves versus reaching out for help and saying, okay, who's the best? And how can I study that person? Which new owners I feel like are like, okay, I'm gonna do this by myself. I'm gonna prove it's like, that's really dumb.
Right.
Just follow somebody who's better. Copy what they're doing, implement that. It's like, this is a very, very simple game of business and how to do it. You just have to find the right person, don't you think?
Yeah, 100%.
100%. Hi, my name is Ria. I've been an ICD owner for about 2 weeks now, and my question is, how do you take someone that's a really good rep and build them into a very strong leader?
I'd say they need to focus on the 3 things that retains people. And the first one is just showing that you care. Right? Not time that we have to do together at work, but what are the things outside that I'm pouring into you to help you? The second, which is wildly important, is can you teach somebody else how to make money? It's not about you just making money, but can you teach and show this person quickly how to make money?
What's your first step? Like, you have a good producer that isn't a good leader. What do you do first?
I make them watch me do it. So I'll be like, hey, I'll show you how to do this. Come with me. We'll spend the next 2 weeks together until you can do it the same way I do it.
One of the best ways to show someone is to actually show someone the money.
Yeah.
So what I always do if I have those types of people that are great, they're making money, they're having fun, but they're not really stepping up to lead and manage people, I'll pull out my computer and I'll actually show them a report of people that are actually doing it. So they're like, wow, like money really does talk, right? Obviously. And especially when someone has that confidence that they can do the field, sometimes just showing them and not even explaining it and not, they're just like, holy cow. And it's like, yeah.
And I think to your point, the reason why people tend to end up in that category where they're a great producer, but they don't think about, people is because 90% of America falls under the employee or the self-employed category, which means all they do is think about themselves. So they just don't know that there's another way out there. And if you're going to step into the business owner category, then you have to recognize that it takes a team to become a business owner, because that means you have a system that other people can follow. And that is a difference in thought process. Most people are conditioned to believe that they are just supposed to do that one job with that one title in that one company for however many years until they find something that's quote unquote better or the grass is greener on the other side. And so I think a lot of times it's just not even really their fault. It's societally driven that they believe this concept, and they just don't even know that in order to become a business owner, you have to think less about yourself and start thinking about how do you make people great around you.
Hi, my name is Riley. I've been an ICD owner for about 2 months now, and my question is, how do you know when somebody is ready to be challenged?
Well, one, sharp people really like to be challenged. Like, they want that. Especially in our industry, we attract like competitive, high-performing, like want to prove themselves type people. And so people like that, they want to be challenged. Now, I think sometimes the word challenge has like a negative connotation where it's like people think challenging means like they're getting on someone or they're like, I don't know, whatever. But that's not it. But you can challenge people, when they're brand new by like, like you can help them, get competitive with our scorecards, right? You can help them get competitive with, doing additional like reading outside of here. Like, hey, you should read a couple chapters of a self-improvement book or a business book. But I think just in general, you should always be challenging people, especially if you believe in them.
Is there like a sign that someone gives you that they're like, okay, yeah. How do you know?
I always say it's pretty simple, like don't kick people when they're down, right? So when someone starts in our industry, they need, no matter how much of an all-star they are, it doesn't matter what they did before this, they still need belief that they can do this, because naturally direct sales is extremely uncomfortable. Going out, getting rejection, obviously it can feel a certain type of way, right? So I always try to, stay focused on building belief that they can do this by having belief in me. So when I believe in them, they believe that they can do it. So our relationship, and then I always say it transitions to once they believe in me and I believe in them, I build that relationship initially, then they start believing that in our clients, which is a lot easier today than it used to be, because we have some of the largest clients around, but they believe that they can do the client's bidding because they believe in the client. And when I kind of hit the box in those areas, couple things happen. I still have to encourage someone, and then at that point I might move on to someone else, because if they don't get it after everything we've shown to them, maybe this industry, that self-reliance that leadership requires, maybe this isn't for them. But at that point, if they start to develop this self-confidence, they start walking into morning office, hey, I'm Kinsey, hey, I'm Amani, here are my goals, right? And I'm Abby, and I'm ready to rock today. That's when I'm like, all right, they're ready. All right, here I go, right? And me and Abby always talk about this when training people, because there's a certain light switch, when someone starts to show me that they're confident, they're tough, they're ready to go, and I'm like, okay, now I'm really gonna turn up the heat on that person, right? I'm really gonna make them sweat. Because they can take it, right? Because they believe now in themselves, and now I'm really going at it.
Yeah.
And so I prepare them and kind of push them and challenge them more than they ever thought possible is my goal. And then at the end of that, you look at someone walk into the room where 6 months ago they looked just like someone who just didn't have a lot of confidence, and they walk into the room 6 months later, 8 months later, and man, they are running that room. And you're like, okay, we did this. This is awesome. That's the beauty. It's truly like the why behind everything, watching that person morph and change and become the leader that you help them, become.
Yeah.
It's truly special.
Yeah, and that's no different than any high performance team, and that really is every person who's in a role of coaching's job is to identify the talent that they have and then develop that talent to be the best version of themselves. I have a 15-year-old stepdaughter who plays highly competitive, soccer, and that's what her coach does all day long is develop her into a captain on the team and develop her to be a leader of the team and develop her to, perform at the best of her ability every day when they go out there on the soccer field. And so I think that's sometimes back to the, negatives online thing is when somebody says, hey, I this person challenged me or they wanted more from me. That's not a bad thing at all. In fact, don't you want more for yourself?
They believed in you.
They believed in you. They took the time to develop you and coach you and help you, and tap into your potential. And sometimes you need someone else to show you what you can really achieve. You may not be able to do it by yourself. And that's where mentorship is so important.
I think just the mentality too that pressure is a privilege. Like that's just a healthy mentality to keep. It's just pressure is a privilege. It's a privilege to have people that believe in you and want more for you because you've shown them a reason, to Jess's point, like that they think you can do more.
Hi, my name is Dominic. I've been an owner for around 2 weeks now. And my question is, how do you create urgency and standards without micromanaging?
I think if you have structure, like a laid out structure in your company, then it just becomes like holding people accountable to that. It's having it there for people so that they know, like, hey, this is the time frame, this is what needs to be accomplished. And then, of course, people who are motivated, who are excited, they're competitive, they're naturally going to be very like, okay, what do I got to do next? What do I got to do next? What do I got to do next? So I think if you create that culture or that environment in your company early on, then it kind of leads itself.
And I just think individual conversations is everything, and just pulling people aside and, hey, here's what we expect. Like, are you going to be able to make this happen? And if the answer is yes, then 9 times out of 10, they go out there and do it. And just offensive coaching with urgency is what we do.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Noah. I've been running an ICD for 7 months now. And my question to you is, how do you re-engage the room when the energy drops?
Energy is just looking in a mirror. So if the energy's off, it is you. So if you want to get that party started, you better walk in there ready to go.
My dad grew up, opening businesses and used to public speak a ton. And so he actually, when I opened my first business in Minneapolis, Minnesota, he flew into town and took Jessica and I to dinner, and he gave me a piece of advice at that meal. And he said that when you want to engage the room, there's 3 things that are really important. The first thing is to start with what you want people to take away from the conversation so that you're, reminding them what to be thinking about. The second thing is to call on people and get them to engage in the conversation with you. And then the third thing is to close with a call to action, something you want people to do after that conversation is done, so that they can actually start to see the fruit of whatever it is that you're delivering. And so if energy is down, usually one of those 3 things is missing, along with what Abby said about your own energy, because energy is a mirror for sure. I would agree with that. And if you fix one of those 3 things and the mirror concept, then the energy goes right back up. My hope for the next generation is that they build the same level of like friendships and relationships and memories that I've been able to make, and that I think we've all kind of alluded to. Sweet. I think that you do life with people, and happiness isn't the amount of money that's in your bank account. It's usually the memories you have and the people that you made it with. And so I think that I'm so grateful the business has helped me and my family, and will continue to. I'm not going anywhere. But I think that it wouldn't have been as sweet if it wasn't for, these ladies and, all the other people that have come along the way, some that are still here today and some that are not still here today, that are still really good friends of mine as well. And so I think that would be my wish for individuals, just like what Abby just said, which is like, this is your life. It's not a work-life balance. It's not the Great Wall of China in between what you do, for 8 hours a day and at home. It's your life, it's your lifestyle, and it's the people you're building that around. And the more successful you become, the smaller your circle of influence becomes. But those people are so influential. And so I think that, when I hear Imani talk about gratitude, I think that I'm incredibly grateful to our mentors and coaches and support system. I'm incredibly, grateful to our clients and our retail support. I'm incredibly grateful to, the money and the success and all that. But I think the thing I'm the most grateful for is the people that have helped me get there, because I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them, and I won't get to where I want to be tomorrow or years gone by for that. And so I hope everyone finds that. I hope they find that group of people that can really inspire and motivate and kick them in the butt when they need it, so that they can really get what they came here for.
I used to hope for like a narrative change. Like I used to hope that like the narrative on direct sales would be different, but I think that will just naturally happen because people are making so much money. It's like crazy. So I think the narrative will naturally change over time because of that. But then that comes with a hope that it doesn't get so easy that people forget to work as hard as some of us had to work. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I hope that people still realize just because you're making a lot of money, it doesn't shortcut the relationship. It doesn't shortcut the time. It doesn't shortcut any of that stuff. I think people might believe that it's going to be easier than it actually is running a company. There's no cheat code for running a business. You might make more money so you can make more mistakes, which is good. But I hope that people realize the amount of money that they're making is awesome, but it doesn't take away from the time that it's going to take to get really good at.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, obviously I agree with that, all, what you guys said and everything. And it's kind of weird because like business is like my religion, So like it sounds silly to say, but like I like believe like this is like everything. Like you could there is literally no like ounce of doubt in my mind that the industry will just absolutely continue to flourish. So when I think about like hope, I hope we do. I'm like, we're going to do that. You know what I mean? Like I don't need, hope just seems too of a soft word. Like I don't, I believe so heavily in this industry that it's been so impactful to me and all of you guys that I just think we could take it to the next level, and we continue to take it to the next level. So, I just hope to be a part of it still, and I want to continue to stay in the game as long as I possibly can. So, I can help more people like you guys and like myself a long time ago rise up through the ranks faster than I did. And if I could try to sidestep some negatives, I would wish that upon you, because I definitely ran into some brick walls with grinders attached to them, and I would like you to avoid injury. So if I could help in any way possible, I'm just blessed to be a part of it. But the future is just, I'm so certain that it's only going to get better for people.